Hello, everybody. How's it going? You know how it is. It's me, Rex the dog, and I'm here to talk mostly about X-Men today. So I've been watching a hell of a lot of X-Men recently. I ended up, for whatever reason, I tuned in and I watched all the X-Men movies. I don't know why I had the urge to do this, but I did. I watched all the X-Men movies. So I watched the first three. I watched the two Bryan Singer ones. I watched The Last Stand. I watched the First Class, Days of Future Past. What the fuck else did they do? They did Apocalypse. They did Dark Phoenix. I watched the three Wolverine movies. I watched the two Deadpool movies. I watched the New Mutants. I don't fucking know. It was kind of entertaining to kind of revisit these. I'm not somebody who rewatches movies a lot. But it was kind of entertaining to revisit these to a certain extent. I mean, Hugh Jackman's just really likable in those movies. X-Men 2 fucking slaps. And I think it really, gets down those sort of characterizations and stuff like that. I think that's a really, really wonderful movie. But that kind of all led into... I mean, this one sort of just total trash as well. Like that first Wolverine movie, which was filmed without a script, because that was during, like, the 2008 writers' strikes. 2007, 2008 writers' strikes. There's a bunch of movies during that time, like, which they just, steamrolled through production with, even though there was, like, no script, basically, and that's, like, why you get these, like, really unwatchable movies, like that Wolverine movie and the James Bond movie, the second Daniel Craig one. There's a few other examples as well, but whatever. Yeah, it was kind of fun to revisit them, even the trash ones, But where's that led me to today? That's led me to X-Men 97, which, upon seeing, I guess, sort of like the trailers and the promotions for that, is like, and I'm a huge fan of the X-Men 90s TV show. Huge fan of it. Especially as a kid, you know what I mean? I guess I was like seeing the trailers and the promotion for this, and I was kind of like, who's this for? Like, who's this actually for? Wait a second, I'm just going to pause for 1 second. Yeah, just a little head adjustment. I kind of felt a little bit uncomfy there. But yeah, I was, seeing the stuff and seeing the promotion about, X-Men 97, I was like, okay, who's this for? And is this just sort of nostalgia bait? And actually checking it out and actually watching the 2 episodes they put up initially on Disney Plus, it's fucking great. It's absolutely excellent. It's everything. It's how you remember the cartoon, right? So obviously your memories of the cartoon are sort of jaded by nostalgia and you being a child and whatever. If you watch it now, it's very clearly, like, there's a lot that show did, in the adaptation of a lot of, like, Claremont comics and stuff like that, which is really badass. But you watch it now, and it's still very much a kid's show, and it is within the restrictions of it being a kid's show. You watch this new one, and boy, oh boy, it evokes the feelings that show gave you, but it's not simply just like nostalgia bait, right? I found it excellent. It has enough sort of like, moments which are quieter with the characters, because like for me the reason that Spider-Man, the X-Men, and Superman when done right, and Batman when done right, I guess, like this whole like early 2000s era of Batman for me, they're the best comic books because they're like a soap opera, right? They're like a soap opera, and you've got all these characters. And with the X-Men, they're constantly like falling in love with each other, hating each other, cheating each other, dying, getting resurrected, all these other stuff. And then you've got the ancillary other stuff. Like the X-Men are just like the ultimate sort of like gay found family, which are like fucking around and all this crazy incestuous drama having with each other. But so the X-Men are really great when they've gotten different, when they've got that sort of those interactions with each other, and those smaller interactions are allowed to happen here. Characters talking to each other, characters monologuing, whatever. Add on top of that the action and it just being sick, and them actually giving justice to characters like Cyclops and giving him like really, really cool action sequences, really utilizing his powers as these concussive blasts, which are, being transmitted from the punch dimension. Actually doing that properly, because, I mean, the movies kind of did irreversible damage on the sort of concept of those being like laser beams. So the kind of corrected his power set. They gave him some really, really cool Marvel vs. Capcom 2 style fight sequences to kind of be like, oh, here's your hero. Fucking dope. All that stuff just incredibly enjoyable. So I'm really hyped about the show, and I'm really excited to keep watching it. I'm really, really excited to keep watching it. Yeah, as I'm saying, the character moments, that soap opera drama, the action sequences being sick, very creative use of the powers. The X-Men are really, really interesting to me because of these things. They're interesting because they're imperfect, they're freaks, they're outcasts, and they're family, and they've got all this crazy drama between them. They're the only team that trains, right? They have to hang out and constantly train in the danger room. They're constantly training to try and work together and get better. They're not at like this crazy like godlike status of, like a lot of like the Avengers teams and stuff like that. So I think, obviously people have cooled down a lot on the Avengers and these massive concepts and stuff like that. So I think going to a team like the X-Men who have to train, who have these problems, I think this show is reminding people, including myself, of what we really, really like about these characters and the dynamics and the stories that can come because of those characters. In X-Men, it really does feel like, when X-Men's good, because of course comic books and all this sort of stuff can be the trashiest of trash, but when X-Men's good and that character drives story as opposed to plot driving story, fucking great. So really, really, really enjoying this. As I said, watching all those Fox X-Men movies again, probably at the end of this, about when this ends will be not too long away from the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and that could be a lot of fun. So I don't know, man. It's a cool show. I enjoy it. I'm excited to watch it week by week, and it's cool also because a few people around me in my actual life are watching it as well, so we can kind of like talk about it and shit like that. So kind of fun. Because so far this channel's for me to talk about stuff that I don't really have an avenue to talk about, but this one I'll be able to talk about here, and I'll be able to talk about with some folks in real life. So just some thoughts on the X-Men there. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. If you guys like it, please subscribe if you haven't. We're on the quest for 50. I really want to try and get this 50. Peace out, guys.